What's up, everyone? Welcome back. In the previous episode, we went through the tedious process of ingesting some Form 4 data from the SEC. We've got it in the database, at least for a few recent filings. And in this episode, we're going to show how to add flags to our JavaScript chart that shows up on the browser for each individual company when a trade happened. And we'll show a little bit of information about the insider who traded it, and then maybe like how big the trade was. So what I want to do now is let's just fire up Rails server and take a look at our high chart, stock charts that we have like sort of populating on the page. So we'll go to localhost 3000 and pull up. We've got companies. I think /companies might drop us into a list of companies here. Okay, cool. So here is where we have a list of a bunch of companies, and if you look at a specific company like Microsoft, we should see the data for the company. Let's go back to all companies. I think we might have price data. I might have wiped out the price data. So let's fetch the price data for a given company here. So let's see, Rails C. I think we like blew away the database and then re-migrated it. All right, so we have a job for fetching price data. So if we go to app jobs, fetch company prices job, and if we perform this on the PagerDuty perform now for the first company, we should pull in some prices from an API, from a stock price API. And then here I'm seeing some 404s. Ah, right, because we need to run our Webpacker thing also. Let's split this vertically and then say dev / or is it bin / webpack dev server. Here we go. Oh gosh. So npm install or gosh, node-env version, node-env local, this one? I can't remember which version of Node we need to use in order to get Webpacker behaving. Okay, so let's see if this is going to give us, there we go. All right, so now Webpacker is back up and running. This is our high chart, stock chart that that is showing on the page. And if you recall, so if we go back, let's see, does Microsoft, wait, company, let's try 2. Okay, so Microsoft has prices too. And if we stretch it out, you'll see the flags that already exist here. So there was some dummy data that came from high charts to add these flags. So let's go take a look at that now. So if we go to high charts JS, at the very bottom here, we see the series, which gives us a couple different series. So at the top we have the price series. This is like the price data, and then the bottom is the flags. Whoa. Which is all of the like things that are showing up here as this ABC. So we want to add something similar to these flags for the trades that are happening on Microsoft, or the trades that are happening for that given company. And so we have the trades in the database saved as Form4. So we can say form4.last company, or actually here we see the company ID here, 4329. So if we copy that and drop it into our URL, this should pull up Carvana. We have not fetched prices for Carvana, so let's do that. So we are going to say fetch prices for Carvana. And now if we refresh the page, okay, so now we see the price data for Carvana, CVNA. Now, for this trade, right, form4.last, so form4 number 29, the file date was Wednesday, the 14th of April, 2021. So on Wednesday, the 14th of April, over here on the very far right, we want a flag to appear for this trade that says, you know, how many shares were sold, basically. And so what we need to do is look at the shape of the data that's returned here, or the shape of the data that's expected. And it looks like we need a date, a title, and then some text. I think the title is just like kind of what we see in the circle, and then the text is what we see when we hover over it, and then we see the date here. So what I want to do is create a new API endpoint for filings, and we'll actually call it flags. It'll be very similar to prices. So up here we have an API endpoint for fetching the prices for a given company. We'll do the same thing for trades. So let's actually call, or maybe Form4, oh, let's call it flags, because we'll just return like very limited data that's just so specific to rendering these flags. Okay, so let's say Rails G controller API / flags, and yeah, this will create a new controller in the API namespace, API flags controller, and we can say module API, and then we'll take this off. And okay, here we go. So let's add a index action that will expect a company ID to be passed. And we're going to say like company is equal to company.find params company ID. And we want to look up the Form4. So I think we have a relation or an association on the company to each Form4. Yeah, so it has many Form4s. So we can say company.form4s. Let's actually just render the JSON for all the Form4s and see how wild that looks. So if we come over here and we go to like API / flags / or like, gosh, what was the ID? I forget. 44329. So that's going to be the company ID. So we're going to say question mark company ID is equal to that. And we want to say API / flags. And this should give us back some JSON data once we add a route. So resources flags. All right, cool. So this is some JSON data that we got back. Has the ID, the link, a whole bunch of information about what happened here. Including the insider's ID, whether they're director, officer, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see, what is the actual data that we want out of the trade? I think it might just be the sum of the shares and potentially, so yeah, there's a question, an open question about like how much of this should be, let's see, how much of it should be shown on the flag versus how much of it do we want to show when we're generally just fetching this. So yeah, I kind of think we want to like, we definitely want to know the number of shares. So I think that might be worth keeping as part of the text, right? So if we go back to this company's 4329, so the text some event with description, like I think instead of ABC, I think we want to see like, was it a buy or a sell? Which we could do by saying, is the sum of the shares positive or negative? So a couple questions in my mind, like one, should we just be like passing the entire filing back? Or should we be like figuring out what to render back from the controller action? So yeah, like I think we want to render back like let's see, so X is going to be the date. So filing, or f dot file date, I think it's called. Let's see, Form4. Yeah, f dot file date is going to be X. And then what were the other things that it had? Let's see, high charts, title and text. So we need to figure out what the title is going to be and what the text is going to be. So for the title, let's just put X for now, and then the text will put f dot sum shares. And let's refresh. I'm surprised that's not, okay. Render JSON for, actually, yeah, let's just say like flags are these things. Render JSON for flags. Okay, there we go. So now we have the X, we have the title, and we have the text. Now the X, I think, needs to be actually parsed into a date object. So here we can say like, this is grabbing the price data. We also want to grab the flag data. And the way that we're going to grab the flag data is by hitting API/flags and passing in the company ID. And then when we get back some flag data, we're going to say iterate over the flag data, and that is going to give us X title and text. So we want to map over X title and text, and we want to return X title and text, but we want to parse the X date. All right, so now, and then, yeah, I guess at the bottom, then we want to use that instead of data here. We want to use flags, right? All right, let's just take it for a spin and see how that goes. Okay, let's open up the terminal, go to the sources tab, refresh the page. We should be hitting the back end. Let's see, Webpack, packs, high charts. Let's just double check to make sure that the data is actually what we expect it is on this at this point. So flags should be, oh gosh, undefined. Okay. So what? Oh, you know what? It's the curly brace situation because, yeah. So if we put curly braces after the arrow function, it expects that we're returning something. All right, so I think we have to wrap it like that. Maybe. Failed to compile. Why is it failing to compile now? Yeah, let's break this onto multiple lines. Is that going to compile? Failed to compile. Why is it failing to compile? Date.parse, is that not a thing? Oh yeah, X points at, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, so here we go. All right, so what does this look like now? Flags. Hey, we've got some data. Okay, can you see that? Let's see, I can barely see that. Let's see, so we have nan, undefined. Okay, so what about flag data? Flag data has some stuff. If we come into here and we see X is undefined. Why is it undefined? Object.entries for flag data. What does that give us? An array with two objects. Oh wait, I don't think we even need, wait. Yeah, I'm trying to remember why we're doing .entries. I don't know if we even need entries. I think we need, because flag data is already an array. Yeah, so we should be able to just say flag data.map. Right? Okay, now is X something? X is that, so date.parse X is that. And title and text, and we should be good to go. All right. So text might need to be like a string or something interesting like that. Let's see. Hey, look at that. We've got an X. So cool. All right. So if we hover over it, we see how many shares were traded. That is awesome. All right. So now we are rendering flags onto the chart here. So that's super cool. What I think we want to do is change the text to be, or maybe we can change the color of the flag. So now we want to like start digging into the actual, like the real API for high charts to figure out how we can really make this interesting. So the shape, maybe we want to change the shape from being a circle pin to some other kind of pin, or I don't know, like maybe the flag like, it can be like a different color or something, or have some other thing. So let's see if we can figure out from the docs here some sort of other some other ways that we can style our flags. So high charts, stock charts, that's what we're passing in. And then the series, so the series data, what can that be made out of? So a series can have type flags. And when it's a type flag, see how many there are here? Colors and clip and cursor and custom and data labels and grouping and all this stuff. So we want to see if the type option is not specified, it's going to be this type. Okay, and then, okay, blah, blah, blah. So flags, shared option for all flags. And then we have a series with type flags. Okay, so what is color? Can we set the color when using dual or multiple axes? Let's just try changing the color while we're up here mapping over it. So let's say like color is red. I don't know. I'm like not sure what this API looks like, but oh wow, look at that. Okay, so yeah, that totally changed the color to red. So I think what we might want to do is say like if the sum of the shares is less than 0, then make it red. Otherwise, we'll make it green or something. So this will be kind of like a handy spot to do some of that client side modification for our flags. The other thing too that I'm thinking is we could technically do this on the server. Yeah. Let's see. So text is technically the sum of the shares. So yeah, I'm changing my mind. Let's go back to our API endpoint. So API flags controller, and let's just return the sum shares, and let's return. Let's see, Form4. Let's return the let's return a little bit more. So like is director. F.is director. Let's return the name too. Insider name is f.insider.name. Ooh, this is fun. We're going to run into an n+1 query right here because we're not eager loading, so we'll address that. And then, yeah, so is director, is officer. Okay, I think that should be good for the data that we'll want on the front end. So let's go back to, let's actually call this file date. I'll go back to high charts, stock chart thing here. And then instead of this, we'll say, so yeah, we'll just say this is the filing, or like F. Say f.file date. And then the title is going to be like some concatenation of things, but for now let's just do like f.insider name, and let's keep this X for now, and then we'll make the text f.insider name, and then f.sum shares. I don't know, we'll mess around with it a bit more. Okay, so we've got a red X, and then it tells us, okay, it tells us the name of the person who traded and what they traded. This is cool. This is really cool. All right, so yeah, let's do the title. F.insider, or officer title. Okay. Oh, okay, because in this case, the insider is actually like an investment firm. So that's fine. Let's actually take a look at another, Form4. Form4.first. That's in Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, in Coinbase. Those are going to be, yeah, so Form4 dot all. Let's just take a look at a bunch of them. Coinbase, 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 Coinbase. All right, let's see. Let's just pull up Coinbase. So this is like a brand new company, so we're not going to have like any price, like there's not gonna be very many prices or anything. So I don't know how interesting it's gonna be. Yeah, so a bunch of trades happen like immediately, right? Like people, oh, this is interesting though, like folks are buying. So that's actually like a really strong symbol if you've got insiders who are purchasing at IPO. And obviously the price popped and is up a bit from the IPO price, so that's cool. That's actually like a really, really strong positive signal for insiders. Is if there's insiders who work at the company who are buying at IPO, that represents like a really, really strong positive outlook for the company going forward. Okay, so let's say, yeah, I mean, I want to try to find a Form4 where the company ID is not this Coinbase company, because I want to look at some other Form4s too. All right, so GIII is some other company that I've never heard of. But if we go to that company now, all right, so now we see the X here. It tells us the person who traded and they sold. All right, so this is actually looking pretty cool. Now, in order for this to like be even more exciting and more fun, what I think we want to do is we need to like fetch way more Form4s and plop them on the map. But for our purposes, we've sort of done what we wanted to do. Well, actually, let's make the color. Yeah, so we'll make the title like buy if it's a buy or sell if it's a sell. So if f.sum shares is greater than 0, then it's a buy. Okay, so then if it's a buy, we want to say the gosh, what's this? So if it's a buy, we want it to be green, and we're going to say this is a buy, and otherwise it's going to be a sell. And the text and stuff is going to be the same. Whatever, we can dry it up later. But yeah, here we go. We see this is a sell, and we can see these are actually all. Are they all cells? I think that's wrong. Yeah. So if shown, okay. So is this coming back as a string or something? Let's see. So no, some shares. If some shares is greater than 0, then it's a buy. And so Coinbase, I thought we had some buys. Some shares, maybe they were all sales. Okay, so that's like less, yeah, that's less cool. Or yeah, Carvana, was that one that was also a sale? All right, so let's try to find a Form4 where some shares is greater than 0. All right, Sling, SLNG. All right, we got to like fetch the prices again. All right, there we go. Nice. We see a buy. Okay, cool. All right, so this is working as expected. This was the goal for the episode. So in the next episode, what I think we'll do is we'll go through and fetch like a bunch more filings, so that you don't have to watch going through that. But we'll fetch a bunch more filings so that we can plot several more onto the map and then or onto the chart. And then we'll experiment with some other stuff in the next one. I don't know. We'll figure out what we want to do. The goal again is we want to get to a point where we can sort of be polling on a periodic basis, and then when a new trade happens, that's sort of interesting because the insider previously purchased at a low and then sold at a high or something like that. So that we can copy that insider and try to do the same thing they're doing, especially for those microcap companies. So if you want to come back in the next one, we will, we'll do some more exercises to get us towards that end goal. All right, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.